What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Shoebooty Sports Podcast. This is your host, Graham Powell, co-host over there on the other screen, Bradley Brown. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
Lots of stuff we'll get to in a bit. Lots of basketball to talk about. First, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Ladies and gents, Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Once that screenshot is verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us Shoebooty Sports on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoebooty Sports. Twitter, X, you know, we do this every week. Well, it is what it is. Okay, so starting a little late tonight, I got home. Well, one, I got home late. Did not get to, didn't work yesterday. Stayed an extra day in Northwest Arkansas to spend time with mom. So that meant I had a lot of catching up at work to do today. So I get home late. I come in. I saw as I was wrapping up my shift that Caitlin Clark was making her regular season WNBA debut tonight. So I paid a little bit of attention to the score. When I got home, I said, I'm going to turn the TV on. And there was 5 minutes left. So I was like, I'm going to sit and watch this game and then get on the show and talk about it, or at least what I saw. Caitlin Clark had, in many ways, a very Caitlin Clark game. Had 20 points, a game high. Also had 10 turnovers. A couple of those turnovers are really good, like looked like really good passes. Or I mean, she was really threading the needle, and they just got picked off. So it's what it is. That's the transition I guess you're going to have to make at the next level. I mean, you are dealing with nothing but pros at this point. So the best of the best from the college level, like anything, for going from college to pros. But 20 points, 10 turnovers. So, some good things and some bad things. I mean, she was Caitlin Clark, made some big time shots, and just did a couple of things that made you shake your head. The biggest takeaway for me was I can see how Indiana had the number one overall pick. That was the big takeaway for me. That's just not a good team. That's not a good team. And Caitlin Clark wasn't playing with like a Yukon caliber dynasty at Iowa or anything, but Iowa had some good players. I mean, you don't get to the national championship 2 years in a row just from Caitlin Clark. I mean, they had some good players. Not great players, but some good players. Indiana's just not a very good team. So I'm going to tune into their games as much as I can, but I I don't expect a lot of success, at least based on what I saw. It's not like they were playing the defending champs. So I don't know how the Connecticut Sun did last year, but it was clearly one team was better than the other. And that, yeah. So, but two takeaways: Indiana's not very good, and that place was packed. And it was not a fever game. It was a home game for Connecticut. I don't know where they're at in Connecticut. I assume Hartford, maybe. I don't. I don't know. Um, but yeah, the place was packed, and it was an away game for the Fever. Everybody's there to see really history. The debut of the game's biggest star that we've seen. As far on the women's side.
What was the final score in that?
I'm looking at it now, 92-71. So when I turned it on, it
Man,
was about a 10, 12 point game. It was in that 9 and 12 range. And when I turned it on, Clark was on the bench actually, and she just getting a breather, I guess. And then she came in and then hit a big three. Uh, but it was really all Connecticut after that. I mean, they're just not a very good team. Like I said, that was my takeaway. They're not very good, but the place was packed, and I'm tuning in to the first game of the WNBA season, so it's a positive no matter how you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I watched maybe 5 minutes of it. So that's 5 minutes more than I've ever watched. So I guess that's got to say something, right?
What, like early or late?
It was kind of like mid game. I watched like a couple of minutes in the second quarter and a couple of minutes in the third quarter. Uh, both times I tuned in, it was about a 10-point game. I did get to see two of those 10 turnovers for Clark. One was a pass, like you said. She was trying to thread the needle, didn't really make it. And the other one, she just got her pockets picked, man. She got it stolen away from her. So,
Yeah, and they were letting them play a little bit. It was the person defending Clark was pretty much playing defense in her pocket. Wasn't making it easy for her, which is what you're supposed to do. So kudos to her, whoever it was. But that was the first time I turned on the TV today, and I just tuned into that, and after that switched it over to the Knicks and Pacers. It looks like the Knicks are taking care of business in Game 5. New York trying to take a 3-2 lead over Indiana and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Been a long time since we've said that about the Knicks. Gosh, like what, the
they're
year
in pretty good shape.
2000?
They're up by 20. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, playoff basketball. And you and I caught the end of Denver game 4 of Denver, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Denver taking care of business on the road,
Yeah.
returning the favor that Minnesota gave them. We, of course, picked Minnesota to win it last week, even though prior to the series even starting, we both had Denver, correct?
Correct.
I was like, I'm speaking for
Man.
you there. I know I
Yeah.
had
That's,
Denver.
yeah, that series going exactly how we thought, right? Home team in the first two games gets their butts kicked pretty good. Uh, Pretty much, yeah, Denver returns the favor in Minnesota, man. I think the fourth game was a little bit closer, but
And
I mean, not really.
it's
Denver pretty much had
yeah,
control of it the entire game. So,
it still didn't really feel all that close.
no. So who knows? Yeah, Denver's probably going to take care of business now. Uh, but yeah, now that I said that, who knows?
Yeah,
Minnesota might take it. So,
yeah, it feels to me like Denver's kind of figured them out. They figured out how to play them. Like Ant's gonna get his. He dropped like what 40
yeah.
last night or Sunday night. I think they just realized he's gonna get his, and we're just gonna let him get his. We're just gonna try to not let everybody else beat us, and that's what it looks like to me, and it's proven to be effective. I think Denver probably wins Game 5, and I don't know if they'll close it out in 6, but yeah, who knows at this point? But I'll pick Denver. I'll
Yeah.
flip flop again. I picked Denver prior to the series, and I thought, man, just the way Anthony Edwards is playing and defense Gobert. Well, I say that, and Gobert didn't even play game 2, but Carl Anthony Towns isn't hitting big shots for them, or at least he didn't these last couple of games. Just, I think Denver's figured out how to play them. They're the champs. They are the best team in the league. And I mean, we've seen this story before. The ascending star, like the standout star on the floor, Anthony Edwards, but he's on the teams that's not as good. The takeaway is this guy is coming, but the better team is probably going to win the series. We saw it with like Jordan going through the Celtics and then the Pistons. Here I am making a Jordan comparison, right? I'm just saying we've seen that story before as far as this is the star that's coming, but his team isn't as good as the championship team. So I expect Denver to take care of business. That's the only comparison I'm making as far as Jordan goes with Anthony Edwards today. All right. So yeah, I got Denver winning it, winning the series. I don't know if it'll be in 6 games, but I got them. I got them winning the series. I got them winning Game 5 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so much for my 5 games max prediction. So
Yeah, you were going out. I was like, I don't see Denver going out that
man, you
easy.
get beat by 22 games in a row, man. You got to on at their place, you got to figure they're doing something right. But
I
yeah,
suppose. All
but I
right,
never
let's.
claimed to know basketball, so
Okay.
there's that.
Yeah. So, listen to our sports show, everyone. We don't know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
when some sports, but yeah, check us out anyway. Lots of credibility here. Okay. Let's talk about what's kind of in the top portion of the headlines on all the sports sites. Bronny James apparently is going to stay in the NBA draft and not transfer from USC. So the guy averaged 4 points a game, and he's apparently going to stay in the NBA draft. I don't know what kind of advice he's getting. I don't know if he's who's in his ear. I'm sure LeBron and
Yeah.
company and just the people around him, but it's got to be tough to be him, you know. Well, not too tough. I don't feel too sorry for him. I mean, the guy's going to inherit. I don't know if it'll be quite a billion, but it's going to be a lot of money one day, and so
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad for the kid. It's not like he's got it that rough. But as far as trying to make a name for himself, how do you do that when your dad's LeBron James?
No idea. I did hear that what he got like the fourth highest vertical at the camp or combine or something, but on his official measurement, apparently he was about 3 inches shorter than what everybody was claiming he was in college. So
I had
I think
saw that he was something like 6'1" or something like
yeah,
that, and
yeah, shade over 6'1", but and all the I don't know, I guess stats or whatnot for USC and everything, they said he was like 6'3", 6'4", and that not being the case. So it's like,
shocker.
yeah,
Well, it takes that reminds me of just us in junior high going. I remember ninth grade, and gosh, was it McGraw? I can't remember his first name. Yeah, Coach McGraw. I remember him. You know, the one of the assistants on the junior high team. He was. We'd go up and we would tell him our what we weighed, what our height and weight was, because they would measure us and then weigh us. And then I remember I told him I was something like 200 or something like that. And he goes, all right. And he literally wrote down like 215 or 220.
yeah.
And he looked at me and grinned. So I mean, that's not uncommon to do. Make yourself look bigger, badder, and all that for when the teams you're playing are scouting you. So that doesn't surprise me. But the guy's not an NBA player, not from what I've seen.
No, what
So
he averaged like 5 points.
like
So
4. I don't even know if it was 5. It was like 4.8 or something. So
well,
sure, we can round up.
everybody knows who's going to take a chance on him. So
I mean, it's not like an NFL roster where you get 50. But I mean, even then, that's tight. You know, you could that's more positions, so that's a bad comparison. But there aren't a lot of roster spots, man. I mean, you need all the help you can get, but I guess if you can keep LeBron happy, I don't know. It, it's
that's what it's
it's
going
a
to be about.
it's a weird scenario. Like
Yeah.
let's because as soon as LeBron retires, I mean, Bronny's going to be out of the league. He's not gonna. He's just not a pro. He's not an NBA player. I don't think he's an overseas player. Kayvon Allen, who was one of the best players in the SEC, is and killed Arkansas every time he played them. has been playing excuse me, playing overseas ever since he's gotten out of college. He's been tearing it up in, I don't know, Europe, but somewhere overseas. If he can't get in the league, Bronny James doesn't belong. But we know this. This isn't news. It's just for whatever reason it's news. I guess it's news because well, we know why it's news. It's LeBron's kid, and he's trying to get into the NBA apparently. Okay, so you and I did jump off the generic sports topics that everybody's talking about right now. You and I did something interesting over the weekend. Um, I paced my brother and I paced the half marathon in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the Saturday morning, bright and early Saturday morning. Uh, Great day, by the way. Great day to just be outside. So that was fun. But afterward, you and I did something unique. The Arkansas 4A state baseball tournament just happened to be in Northwest Arkansas, pretty close to where you and I were staying in Gravette, Arkansas. Nice little quiet country town in NWA. Uh, Very pretty area again. And our high school was playing in the semifinals of the 4A state baseball tournament. So you and I went and checked it out. Of course, Lone Oak High School is where we went and graduated from. Both played on the baseball team ourselves there, and so it was cool to go, watch them represent. Now, this team was stellar last season. Won the state championship. I think they had only lost 2 games all year last year. Record wasn't quite as good this year, but they ended up playing a team that they had beaten in the regional championship game prior to that, and I think they had beaten them one or two more times before that in the regular season or district, something like that. Wasn't paying too close attention to it, but I'd check and see how they were doing from time to time. So, but it was a good team they played. Joe T. Robinson Senators, and just a couple of bad innings, and yeah, Lone Oak got beat. They tried to rally late based on one of the uh, most boneheaded coaching decisions I had ever seen.
Yep,
Uh, but
definitely.
yeah, our high school rallied, but came up short. But it was fun to go see some good quality high school baseball in the state tournament semifinal round, and our high school came up short. But it was I don't know. That's a good group. Their pitcher is going to go play at the U of A. Uh, Eves, I think is his last name. Steele Eves, maybe. Looked very good. Yeah, had one rough inning, and Robinson roughed him up a little bit in the other, at least in the last inning. But still, very promising looking talent. That DVH and company is going to get there on the hill. So pretty cool to see that. I was super impressed by Gravitz High School. I know I told you that, like the campus. I was I didn't know what I was expecting when I pulled up, but I was just because it's a quiet little country town, not a whole lot there.
I wouldn't
Uh,
expect anything that nice
yeah,
or
I rolled
anywhere
up. I
near
was
that
like,
nice.
this is it,
Yeah,
and
pretty
just all
impressive facilities.
yeah, but turf infield. I still don't know how you. I mean, I guess if these kids, if they grew up on it and around it, they know how to deal with it. And I guess we would have too had we grew up playing on it. Still just weird to see though. At least the outfield was grass. But I don't know, it was cool to go see a high caliber, high school baseball game. It was better than the last in person ball game I went to go see, which was my not knocking them, but my 12-year-old niece's team, the Hurricanes, softball. It looked like a bunch of 12-year-olds playing softball that aren't travel players. So this was a much more clean game. What was there, one error? I think it was just one. I mean, yeah, one error. I mean, if we're not counting, I mean, we're not counting wild pitches and stuff, but
Yeah, I think there was just one error through the whole game. So
yeah, very clean game. Uh, yeah, it was fun to go out and see. I got way too much sun. That's the one thing I would say. It would have been nice to have like an awning over it, because we just sat there and we baked in the sun. I was very red afterwards. It looked like I was wearing flesh colored socks over my feet when I took my socks off because I had the ankle socks rolling. So it was basically from the knee down was just red until you got to my ankle and below, and it was just pasty white skin. So it was a very interesting look that I was rocking. Starting to get over that a little bit, but just wanted to give a quick shout out to our high school, Lone Oak Jackrabbits. That class has had a heck of a run. District regional champs 3 years in a row, I believe, and state champions last season. So didn't didn't do what you wanted to do as far as back to back, but you got close and you got one. A lot of
yeah,
people don't even get that. I never even got to play in the state tournament.
yeah, don't even get close to it. So
We got close, well, to the state tournament, not state championship.
yeah,
Yeah, we were a game short every year, and it was Dover that put us out every year, jerks. But anyway, moving on. What's going on in the golf world, Brad? Let's have golf time with Brad.
golf time with Brad. Well, Scotty and his wife Meredith finally had their kid
Here
last
we
week.
go.
So
I was like, are
here
we
we
ever going to
go.
stop talking about Scotty and
We
his kid?
well we can't, yeah, we can't after this week. They welcomed their first child, I think, on
Thank
the
God.
8th. So just about a week ago. Other big news that's in the golf world, but doesn't really concern golf, is Roy McIlroy filed for divorce. I think today or yesterday. So a little bit of distraction going into this week's PGA Championship tournament. Um, but yeah, big tournament over the weekend. Um, McIlroy actually won I believe it was the Wells Fargo Championship. Him and Xander Schauffele were, 1 or 2 strokes apart starting off the day. But man, Rory, he was really on one on Sunday. He pretty much made no mistakes until I believe the 18th. He hit it into the water. But at that point in time, Xander had already fell off and he had like a 5 shot lead. So he could afford to make a couple of mistakes. But McElroy wins once again on the tour. So it's been a while since he's done that. So
I like
yeah,
how
man.
when we talk golf with Brad, it's concerned Scotty Scheffler and his wife and their kid, and
Yeah,
now Rory getting a divorce. So
yeah.
you got like the inside scoop as far as relationships and new parents and all that go. I just find that kind of comical. What happened to Tiger?
Yeah.
How's his clothing line doing?
It's his name's on the shirt, so it's doing good. I would figure. I mean, last time I seen it, I think his shirts and or his clothing line, it was selling out. From what I heard, of course, it's probably a limited quantity of clothing, but I haven't checked it out yet. They're probably way too expensive. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
he will be playing this weekend. He's a long shot to win, but he's of course Scotty's the favorite. McElroy's up there. John Rahm, he's up there. So Brooks, he's in the mix. So we'll see how this weekend plays out. Should be a pretty good tournament.
all right, well, update on the Knicks and Pacers. Jumping back to NBA hoops, Knicks win by 30. So they win by 30 at home in the
Wow.
Garden, take a 3-2 series lead in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Uh, I didn't see what Brunson put up as far as points, but Knicks took care of business. Wasn't even close. In the second game of the WNBA, the two-time defending champs, the Vegas Aces, taking on Diana Taurasi in the Phoenix Mercury. Taurasi's got to be older than me. Is she old? I mean, is she older than us?
I don't know. She's been around for a minute.
Yeah, we got to give that a quick Google. Diana Taurasi's age. Are you on it or am I on it? I'm on it, but I'm just
I'm
basically.
guessing you're on it. Yeah.
I was trying to see if you could beat me.
Yeah. I don't think she's older than us. Surely not.
41 years old. She was born
Never
June
mind.
11th,
Yeah.
1982.
She's got us by a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Diana Taurasi entering her 401st season with the Phoenix Mercury. So cool. They're like I said, playing the Vegas Aces right now, down 38-31. Uh yeah, it's I don't know. That's all I have to that's all I know about the WNBA. The Aces won it and going for it again, and Caitlin Clark debuted tonight. But hey, that's more than we've ever talked about it, so it's a start. So you got to give some kudos there. Kudos to the WNBA. All right, so Timberwolves and Nuggets play tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, it just started. Tip off was a couple of seconds ago. I'm
I didn't
surprised they're
realize
starting this
that.
late. Yeah.
I was looking at the schedule here, and I had to pause and like, am I looking at this right? It said Tuesday's games. But yeah, Nuggets and T Wolves playing tonight. They are back in Denver. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they played Sunday night, and here we are Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So I guess I know what I'm doing when I. And yeah, there it is on the screen. Okay, makes sense because I mean the Knicks game is over. It's been a long. Today was a long day. I had a lot of catching up to do. So of course Mother's Day weekend, other things going on in the personal life, but uh, yeah, excuses. We got a show to run. Dang it! So we even got hockey. We got playoff hockey going on. Here I am looking. Edmonton's up 1-0 over Vancouver in the end of the first period. It's the second round of the Western Conference NHL playoffs. About all I got as far as NHL goes. Anything to add there?
No, nothing to add there. I did watch about 5 or 10 minutes of the game tonight. One of the games tonight. I believe it was the Bruins and the Panthers, maybe. So
That's it. Yeah, the Florida Panthers. Still weird.
yeah,
This is the Florida teams with the NHL or Florida with NHL teams and with good NHL teams on top of that. I think it's awesome though. Different but cool. Okay, so I would like to check in on how my St. Louis Cardinals are doing, but I know that they're in last place without even having to look.
really.
Last I checked, I believe Philly had the best record in baseball. And Philly's become kind of they've kind of become my team outside of St. Louis. I don't know, they're fun to watch. And when you're watching baseball, that is. I don't really get too into it until we get closer to the postseason. I always watch the World Series, but we got a ways to go, until we get there. But I know Philly has the best record in baseball right now. At least that's what it was a few days ago. I'm gonna double check on that just to be sure. Okay. Yeah, Philadelphia 30-13. They've won 8 of their last 10. The only MLB team with 30 wins right now. The Brewers, who were my preseason pick to win the Central, are currently atop the Central. And hey, well, yeah, okay. I was going to say, guess who's not dead last in the Central, but St. Louis and Cincinnati are currently tied for the worst record in the Central, sitting at 17-24. Reds have lost 9 of their last 10. Cardinals are at least 3-7 in their last 10 games. God, you know how much it annoys me to
That's
say that.
terrible.
It's so bad. This is the St. Louis Cardinals, double digit World Series victories, second most behind, of course, the Yankees. I mean, no one's catching the Yankees. Not in my lifetime, anyway. Yeah, this is frustrating. I mean, I'm not losing sleep over it because it's what it is. I'm not going to lose sleep
Yeah.
over things I can't control, especially when it comes to sports. And growing up a Razorback fan, you learn that early. That's silly. You should be doing that anyway. Get your priorities straight no matter what. Yeah, don't lose sleep over based on how your team does or doesn't perform. You know what I'm trying to say. If
Yeah.
your team doesn't do well, don't lose sleep. Don't lose sleep over it. It's still weird to see though. St. Louis Cardinals consistently at this point at the bottom of the division. It's frustrating as heck to watch. So let's stop talking about the Cardinals and let's start talking about a good baseball team. How about our Arkansas Razorbacks? Jump to the SEC. I saw they got the series win over Mississippi State. Did they win all three or did they drop one?
No, they won the first, dropped the second, and had to make a hell of a comeback on the third game. I think they were down like 6-0, and then I think scored 8 unanswered runs to win the game and the series. So
I did see that they had to come back to win that one, and it was at Baum Stadium in Fayetteville.
yeah,
So I don't have the standings in front of me. Are you able to pull that up? Just the
I
SEC
can
standings.
I can do that real quick. Yes,
What was that last word?
I guess.
Okay, sounded like one word. Somebody said, "Ah, yes." I'm like, okay, whatever. But it's late. I could be hearing that, definitely hearing that wrong at this point in the evening.
Probably.
I saw the Razorbacks softball team got ousted by Missouri in the SEC tournament. I did tune into what I could of that one. I want to say it was like a Thursday night. I remember because I still had a lot to do because I had to get ready to basically get myself ready to leave town last Friday. So I remember I went for a run. I came back and I got a haircut and showered and I think I had to cook some. I don't know. But by the time I sat down and got to, I think it was between time, between like the haircut and the shower after my run, I was like, oh, the Razorback softball team's playing. And then there was a lightning delay. And then they said, okay, we're just going to have to move it to tomorrow. They were down 2-1 to Missouri at that point, and then Missouri ended up winning it like 4-1 or something like that. I saw that the next day. So Razorback softball team done. I believe they are going to the postseason. I know that
Yeah,
they were able to advance to the postseason outside of the SEC tournament, of course. So
they
that'd
ended up
be
being a killer delay. Didn't they get delayed with like bases loaded and no out?
no, it was Missouri was at bat. So if anything,
I thought
it
it
would have
was. Thought Hogs were back, but
no. If it no, you could be right. I don't think the bases were loaded or anything like that though.
hmm,
I just uh I saw Hannah Gamble put one in the bleachers as far as it was a home run like to center or maybe right center a little bit, but she just smoked that. But Hannah Gamble, their first baseman, is interesting to watch. She pulls a ball more than I've ever seen any batter pull a ball. Every at bat I watch her have, she fouls. It seems like she fouls anywhere between 3 and 7 pitches into the left field like bleachers like foul, like that past the or down the third baseline. It's she pulls so many balls to that area and fouls off so many pitches. So it's just very interesting to watch, and she has always done that from what I remember. But she got a hold of this one and put it in the seats, but it wasn't enough. Missouri got it Missouri got it done. Sent the Hogs home from the tournament early, but it's all right. They move on to the regionals whenever that is. But I'll tune in if I can. I mean, softball. I've said it on this show is fascinates me. I don't fast pitch softball, not
Yeah.
the men's league where you're just underhand lobbing it up there and you've had 6 beers in the parking lot and you smoke it to the Home Depot parking lot, or you whiff entirely. That doesn't even that fascinates me a little bit. But the fast pitch softball, I don't know. It's I do know. It's just it's fascinating. I don't know how they throw it like that pitching, but it was explained to me when I was a reporter that because I had said because a lot of those their pitchers they can pitch all day. Like they'll go
Yeah.
to like these high school teams, they'll go to a tournament and their ace pitcher pitches every game. And I would ask I asked one coach, I said, how does she do that? How's her arm not tired? And he explained to me that just the motion is it's a more natural motion than throwing overhand. Like throwing hard overhand. It's just much easier on your joints and your shoulder and all that. And he said because of that, your arm doesn't fatigue and doesn't get sore at least as easy. And I mean, they're able to do it no problem. And I was just like, huh, okay, that's more natural. Winding up and throwing it underhanded like that is apparently more natural than throwing it overhand. But blows my mind, but it fascinates me, like I said. All right, Brad, we're running out of time. Anything to add before we get out of here?
I was going to say I got the SEC conference standings for the baseball up in front of me. Arkansas's got a 2-game lead over A&M in the West, and Kentucky has got a 1-game lead over Tennessee in the East. So
Who's got the overall right now? Like,
Kentucky by 1 game.
and who does Kentucky wrap up the regular season with? Because this is it. We got one more series, then we're on to the postseason. We're on to the SEC tournament.
I'm pulling up the schedule right now. They're playing. It doesn't even look like they're playing a conference game at all. So I don't. Surely that's not right.
Yeah, it can't be right because if they're only 1 game ahead and Arkansas is about to play 3 conference games.
Well, maybe they have a out of conference midweek matchup uh, coming up this week. So
Well, either way, Arkansas is in control of their own destiny. I mean, they could at least get that outright regular season championship, but it's not going to be easy to do going against A&M. A&M's technically ranked higher than them, right? Of course, that really means nothing. Of course, you want to be highly ranked, but it's where you are in the standings that really matter as far as that goes. But Arkansas in control of their own destiny. When does the game one start?
game one probably Friday, I believe.
Okay, probably Friday, we believe. So check out, give it a Google if you're interested in that, and we'll check it out and come back next week with more NBA action, playoffs, and all that, and baseball roundup. Until then, we're gonna get out of here. This is your host, Grandpa. That's co-host Bradley Brown.
That is correct.
Okay, very awkward way to end the show. So we're gonna get out of here before we make it worse. Deuces, y'all.
Peace.